Evolutionary.org Hardcore 2.0, episode number 1. Steve Smith's, aka Stevesmi and Da Mobster joining me. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Well, good. I'm looking to knock this stuff out of the park with this new style hardcore. So let's go.
So this is 2.0, episode 1. Today we're going to be talking about summer cutting cycles with Euro Pharma. So we're going to go over one of the best, if not the best, summer cut cycle. And obviously, it's going to be pretty hardcore. So this is one that you're going to love. And Euro Pharmacies, one of the top brands in the world, they're the ones who have these 3 compounds that we're going to talk about, and they're fantastic. And the reason they're fantastic is the gear is top quality and the gear is clean. So let's first talk about Mobster trenbolone acetate. And trenbolone is the king of all steroids. If you want to compete at the highest levels, no matter what, if it's physique, if it's bodybuilding, if it's heavyweight bodybuilding, if it's powerlifting, trenbolone is your thing. And trenbolone is also a fantastic cutter. And there's been guys, even on a crappy diet, Mobster, who I've seen get on trenbolone and they just shred it up like you wouldn't believe. So this is one of my all-time alpha steroids. And Euro Pharmacies has a fantastic trenbolone acetate that's as clean as can be. You'll have less of a chance of getting that tren cough. And basically with trenbolone acetate, there's trenbolone acetate, there's trenbolone enanthate, and then there's trenbolone hex. And the difference between trenbolone acetate and the other two is it's a much shorter ester. So with trenbolone acetate, you want to be injecting every day or every other day. You can get away with every 3 days, but optimally, I think every other day is the best. And overall, the trenbolone acetate can really do a lot of things in your body. It messes around with your metabolic rate. It does a lot of things. It's so damn androgenic and so damn anabolic that you could literally just take trenbolone and get an incredible physique change. So Mobster, tell us a little bit more about trenbolone acetate and why we like it here as part of this summer cutting stack.
I'm thinking more, and funny enough, you just did that bit at the end there, Steve, where you talked about it as part of the stack. First off, guys, as is always the case, the harsher the drug, the greater the reaction. And tren is one of those drugs, as Steve said, with the side effects, etc., including tren cough, where you have these particular issues. But equally, it's one of those. I think it's one of the descriptions we used in another podcast for something else, Steve, when we talked about. I think I used the phrase "going turbo." It just seems to have that kind of response. Now, I think, and I've said this before, it's not a first-time drug for most of you guys. And we're not going to be recommending massive dosages of tren here, or indeed any of the other drugs. And it's definitely one of those things, as Steve said, and I think he'll probably agree with this, better in this situation being run with the other drugs. And again, all at moderate dosages. So the reason why, and it's not from personal experience, but the reason why users say tren is the daddy, tren is the gold, and they're not just referring to the color, is that they get the response. But again, touch back on what I just said, not something for a first-time user, not something that if you're just getting now into shape and you're just doing your first cycle, oh, I'll take tren. Definitely see how you respond to other drugs. If you're going to have problems with other drugs, then tren's going to kick your ass. If you're okay and you build up a sort of an affinity and you feel okay on the others, and then you introduce tren at sensible dosages, you're going to see that magic happen, as Steve says. I mean, Steve's got way more experience with the tren than I have because I've got none. But obviously, we talk on the forums, we listen to what the other guys are saying, and we know that it's just once you're serious, once you're doing everything else, which we're going to get into, it just makes stuff happen. It doesn't need to be run at a gram and a half, or anything like that. What do you think, Steve?
It's definitely worth a shot for you out there if you've never tried trenbolone before and you're experienced with other steroids. So let's say, you want to cut ahead of the summer, I think it's a great option. So what stacks good with Trend, Mobster? So the next one we're going to talk about Masteron propionate. And like Trend, Masteron also comes in enanthate. Now, Masteron historically has always been propionate. Pharma grade, they never produced enanthate, but because of underground labs came around and they worked their magic, and now Masteron is widely available, both propionate and enanthate. But in this case, we're going to stick to propionate. The shorter esters provide more flexibility to the user. It's in your system quicker. It's out of your system quicker when you come off. So you have greater flexibility to start and stop it as you like. So this is why a lot of people like these shorter esters. Plus, we're talking summer cutting cycle, right? We're in a rush here. We want to look good. Summer is here. Summer won't be here before you know it. And if things happen, you have situations happen, and you may, before you know it, the summer is over and you're going to be like, damn, I just missed the summer and I wasn't able to cut down. So we don't, why waste time? Get on it and let's do this, so use the shorter. Go ahead, Mom.
Let me jump in for a second here, Steve. I'm just thinking of a couple of things here. One, which I was going to touch upon later anyway, but I'll do it now. So, guys, when summer's coming, it's in the middle of the year, depending on what side of the world you live on. But typically, it's in the middle of the year, June, July, August, September. And again, it moves a little around depending on where you are positioned on the planet. But that these things are going to happen. So Steve's correct in one way, which I'll get to in a second, but essentially work with your body. So bulk in the winter, rip, shred, cut in the summertime. Change stuff, in my opinion, ahead of time. Now, what I was going to ask Steve, and what he can explain, is the difference between, in my thinking, do I do a cut and then summer arrives, or would I, and again, as Steve says, with the flexibility of the shorter esters, am I looking to do this cycle during the summer? So not only have I done the preparatory work with diet and cardio and everything else, but am I still on this cycle into the summer, into the holiday, with the possible exception if you're off to the Bahamas or the Caribbean or something like that for 2 weeks and you cannot take certain products, shall we say, with you on the aeroplane. So what do you think, Steve? Is this something that you would run through the summer, or is this in preparation for summer? Because that's quite important in my mind, especially if I'm looking to shred, get cut for a summer cycle. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question. That's why we're using shorter esters here. This gives us the flexibility to really do all of the above. So let's say you have a vacation coming up. You can run this for 8 weeks, 10 weeks even, if you wanted to. But you'd see a change. You'd see by week 3, week 4, week 5, you'll start seeing changes. So you could even do a 6-week cycle of the stuff. And Euro Pharma Masteron is a fantastic one here. The reason we're adding Masteron, and the reason this answers your question too, Mobster, the hardness of Masteron. So obviously you use the Masteron, your muscles are going to get hard on it. You stop using the Masteron after a week or 2, your muscles will no longer be hard. So you want to, ahead of your vacation, definitely have that Masteron in your system. And then when you stop taking it, you go on your vacation, and then you'll be able to get back, and then you can run your PCT when you come back, because it's still going to be in your system another week or 2. So that's the way I would kind of structure it. And then you could take a break and then run another cycle later in the summer if you wanted to go to the beach or go to the lake or something. So
this is the thing, guys. I suspect Steve knows as well as I do. Cutting cycles tend to be run by younger guys, because you're the ones that are more concerned. You're older guys too, but for the majority, it's going to be younger guys looking to look good on the beach, look good at the lakes, look good when you're away on holiday, sitting by the pool and whatever else, right? And again, test prop, hardener, as Steve's already said, especially from PSL, great product. What you're looking for here, and we've addressed this in again, a similar podcast where we talk about test prop as a hardener, or Masteron, should I say, as a hardener. You need to have shredded, you need to have cut down in order for those muscles to pop. And that's why it's a cutting cycle. But once you've done that, once the abs start to appear, once the lines and separation in the muscles start to appear from whatever winter bulk that you've got, You might not be that out of shape in the off season. Who knows? If you're like that, then this is the stuff that's going to make you. I mean, to put it crude, this is going to make you look like you're made out of a rock. Make you look. And those guys, especially when you're super dry and sub 10%, sub 5%, probably, Steve, you're going to have muscles that look like they're made out of granite. Now, that's not going to happen if you're 15 or 20%. They might feel like rocks underneath that blubber, but you ain't going to be showing anything. But when you do get that fat down, when you do put in the work, and when you do diet, the hardening properties of Masteron are going to shine, as I think Steve likes to say. You're going to see that stuff, and they're going to give you that granite-like hardness. You won't be able to mistake that for anything else. I think the best exemplifier of that, Steve, back in the day, because he was known for it, would be probably Dorian Yates, for that gnarly looking, like someone's got a hammer and chisel on your body. That's the look that you're looking for. And it's going to be definitely one of those, again, let's be honest, you're down on the beach, guys. You've done the work, you've done the cycle. Muscles are hard as a rock. It's the one that's going to have the girls wrapping their hands around and feeling those muscles. Oh my God, what are you made of? That kind of stuff, Steve. Isn't that what the guys are looking for?
Of course, yeah. And Masteron, it's very, very important in this cycle to be a lower body fat before you start it, obviously. So if you're under 50, if you're 14, 15%, and you want to get to 11, 12%, this is good. If you're 11, 12% now, you want to get down to 8, 9%, this is good. But if you're 20%, 25%, and you get on this, using Masteron is pointless because you're just going to harden up your muscle and it's going to be covered by fat. So you have to have muscle on your frame first so that you can see the muscle hardening, and you have to have under 15% body fat so you can see the muscle in the first place and it's not covered by fat. So really go look in the mirror and flex your abs. Can you see your abs or can you not see your abs? That's the question. So if you run this stack and you can't see any of your abs, you may be only able to see 2 of your abs after it's done. If you're able to see 2 of your abs now, you'll be able to see 4 of your abs after this is done. If you're able to see 4 of your abs, then you're going to be shredded with a 6-pack after this is done. It's all about expectations of taking the next step. So we're going to talk later on in the show about dieting and getting cut down before you take this stack too. But it's also important to remember Masteron does things that we may not know about. It also does a good job of binding to sex hormone binding globulin in the body, SHBG. So it makes the entire cycle work better in the first place. So going back, to the trenbolone, the dosing, we're going to talk about the dosing as well after we talk about the third compound, in this case, Mobster, which is going to be testosterone propionate. And testosterone propionate, again, we're using the short ester. Now, testosterone has a lot of esters. You've got things like succinon and omnidron, which are a blend of 4 esters. You've got enanthate, you got cypionate, you've got decanate, testosterone decanate. You've got testosterone suspension even, which is no ester at all attached to it. So there's so many different esters with testosterone. There's isocapriate, so many different ones. Testosterone phenylpropionate. I can keep going. I think I've named all of them off the top of my head, all of the main ones at least. And then you got testosterone propionate. In this case, it's got the same ester attached as the Masteron and just about the same half-life as a trenbolone acetate. So you're also going to inject it every day or every other day. And in this case, we're kind of saying every other day on these. And what you could do, or you could do it this way, you could inject every day, but inject enough of the compounds so that it's in your system. In other words, we're going to talk about the dosing on the next segment. But in this case, if you don't want to inject, 2 different injections on the same day, you could do 1 injection on Monday, 1 injection on Tuesday, and then go back and do the same one on Wednesday and Thursday and kind of rotate that way. So we'll get into the dosing shortly. You understand what I'm talking about. But testosterone propionate, very important. There's a lot of testosterone out there, Mobster, and there's a lot of bad testosterone out there. There's a lot of poor quality testosterone. There's a lot of underdosed testosterone. And I've used plenty in my time. And it really makes a difference once you find a good brand it really makes a difference how you feel on a good quality testosterone. And also a testosterone propane, it's important to find a good brand where you're not getting the post-injection pain, because testosterone propionate is one that's going to possibly give you a lot of post-injection pain, especially if you're prone to it like I am. So this is why I love Euro Pharmacies testosterone propionate, because it's much smoother than other brands. You may still get post-injection pain, but it's not going to be as bad. So Mobster, tell us, yeah, jump in.
I'm just going to figure two things here, Steve, and I'm again agreeing with you 100%. Once you find the right supplier like BSL, you want the right dose. You don't want to misdose product, and you want a product that contains what it says on the label. So test prop. You don't want it to be something else. And again, that's in this situation because the magic here for me is this combination of summer cutting drugs. It's this sort of cycle that we put together here for you guys using PSL product. Yeah, so 100%, guys, a great source like Euro Pharmacies, no underdosed products, and it contains what it says on the label, because especially, as I was saying already, this is a magic cycle. This is one of those things where a combination of the 3 different drugs is going to produce that particular result. I could, for example, if we were doing a bulk, you could say something crazy, not that I would do these particular 2 drugs together, but Dynabol and Anadrol, if you don't bulk on it, you're never going to bulk. On the other hand, it's 2 orals and they're quite harsh. These ones with the shorter esters and the right dosages, which we'll get into momentarily, should produce, if everything else is equal, the perfect result. And like I said again, using Euro Pharmacies as a source, you're getting the right product, you're getting the right dosages. You know this is the way that you want it to work. I mean, honestly, Steve, would you want it to be something else? And suddenly you start adding water and you're saying, what the hell's going on? And the diet's on point, my training's on point, what the hell? So no, you need these things to be what they are, and you go to a trusted source like EP, and that's it. It's job done, guys. That thinking's been done for you. You just go out there and you put in the work. I think something else, something you just touched on, Steve, with regards to dosing again, and it's just a suggestion. I'm not a great fan of pinning overly frequently, so I would probably want to keep this as a shorter cycle. And one of the things that you could do, because it's about the half-life and pinning frequency anyway, if we're saying every other day, for example, well, then you could do every day, but it wouldn't be the same drug every day. It would literally, I mean, for example, Steve, just as a suggestion, I mean, I've got Masteron Prop down as 3 to 4 day half-life, and the others as 1 to 3 days and 2 days. So the test prop and trinase very, very close. So, for example, you could do 1 or 2 of these drugs on one day and then the other drug on the second day. And that way you're pinning every single day, but you're not pinning 3 drugs on the alternate days. That's just as a way around it, Steve, just as a way of dealing with that particular thing. Guys, maybe if once you get comfortable pinning 2, it's not going to be that hard as a pin 3. Something else, Steve, and you might know better this than I would. Would you, for example, chance mixing all these into one syringe, or would you try separately?
Yeah, and so let's get into the dosing and how you would do it. So with the trenbolone acetate, I think with the trend, anywhere from between 200 and 400 is plenty. So you can do that as a moderate cycle. Now, some guys go higher than that, but 200 to 400, I think the sweet spot overall is like 250 to 300. So somewhere in there. I've always gotten really good results on 250, 300 area. And then when I've raised it to 350, the side effects just get brutal. So you can experiment with that. The nice thing about these short esters is you can kind of change the dosing as you go along. You can increase the dosing or lower the dosing. This is why professionals use these shorter esters, just for the flexibility. Now with the Masteron, you want the average dosing of Masteron is about 400 to 500 milligrams a week. So you would use the Masteron Prop. Overall, you'd use it somewhere between 400 to 600. Now, some guys go higher. Some guys go up to 800 or 1,000. So let's say, we take the average, we do about 400 or 500 milligrams a week. So if you're pinning every other day, just do the math on that. You're going to be pinning, let's say 500 divided by 7. So let's do the math on that. It comes out to about 71. So let's say 75 milligrams a day would be 150 milligrams every other day. And then on the trenbolone, if you did it every day, it'd be about 40 milligrams. So every other day of the trenbolone, about 75 milligrams every other day. So you could put them definitely in the same syringe if you wanted to hit it every other day.
Yes.
So you just kind of do the math and calculate it every other day. Now with the testosterone, we see guys who run testosterone by itself. They'll run like 500 milligrams. That's a moderate dose. But if you're stacking it like this and you want to cut down, using a lot of testosterone may not be the best idea. So you may want to use a bare minimum of the testosterone. You may only want to use, say, 150 or 200 milligrams a week. So let's say you use 200 milligrams a week. That comes out to about 28 milligrams a day. And then that would be about 60 milligrams every other day. So yeah, I mean, it's not that much. It's not as much as it, once you do the math, you could just put that amount into the same syringe and just pin every other day if you wanted to, or you could just do it every day, like I said earlier in the podcast. It really is up to you.
Very quickly, Steve's practically done the work for you in terms of the math. But one of the things I said in the forum, Steve, guys, do the math. Learn when you're at school, when you're at high school, when you're at college, and whatever else. It's whatever. Can't just rely sometimes on calculators in what's on your phone or on your PC or whatever else. So do the math. One of the things that I would do if I was doing a summer cut and if I was doing this cycle is I would literally, and I'm making show notes even as we're talking now. So I would literally have a plan. I would say, right, I'm going to do these. What's the half-lives? Even allowing for the flexibility that Steve talks about with minor tweaks up and down just to get that magic to happen. I would write this out and I would literally say, if I'm going to do every other day, calculate how much is it? And then that's it. It's simple. We've even had this question come up on the forum again, Steve, talking about preloading syringes. Yeah, fine. What the hell? Just change the pin on the end and stick this thing in the fridge. Keep it nice, cool and dry and have it ready. You can do this. Steve, I could probably, if I was doing this cycle, I'd probably have it preloaded for a week. So I'd have 2 or 3 syringes on the go to do the every other days. And I would have the right amounts in them. I would be careful as I can, not rushed. Don't rush, guys. And put this stuff in the syringes and get them ready. And then, boom, once I'm comfortable, which I've never have been, but once I'm comfortable sticking that damn pin in, job done. Find a site, do it, all the things that I'm supposed to do. If you can meal prep, if you can plan your training, you can plan this out. And we're doing some of the work here. Steve's already done some of the numbers for you, just off the top of his head. And again, pre-prep preparation. So it would literally be, right, what's my thing to do today? How much am I dosing today? Have I got the syringe ready or shall I do that now? Right, okay, give myself 5 minutes, get everything set up, do it properly. And this is the kind of stuff, it's almost like I say, when I do a cycle, I specifically pick out what products I'm going to buy, what products I need specifically for my aims, which would typically be strength. So if I'm doing a summer cycle, I have the same thought process. What are the best drugs for me? We've given you a great cycle here from EP. Do I need to prepare them in advance? Yeah, why the hell not? Because it's just simple. I can change the pins on the end once I've drawn up what I need to draw up. There's the cheapest chips. Put that to one side. If it's in oils or alcohols, put them in either a cool, dry place or put them in the fridge, bang them out of the cool box if that's where you keep them, guys, and boom, job done, and then disposed of properly, and then go out and do everything else. I mean, dosages wise, I kind of agree with Steve. I'm always a bigger fan of the lower dosages, but as Steve said, the ability to adjust, and I would be looking probably adjusting like 50 or 100, Steve, not really going from 4 to 8 or even from 4 to 6. Because again, sometimes there's and this is the hardcore stuff, because we don't fuck around with this stuff, but we give you the real shit. Guys have, and it's especially guys when they're doing this kind of thing, we have a sort of, well, if half works, then double will work better. If one works, then 2 will work better. And that is not always the case. You don't need to be running grams and grams and grams of product to get in a shape for the summertime. You just need to be doing the right amounts. And I would obviously, Steve, for me, for example, just looking at it very, very quickly, it's 750 milligrams at the lower end. That's less, that's 3/4 of a gram. 200, 400, 150, Trend Ace, Masteron test. The higher end is only 1.2. And that would be a little bit excessive for me personally, but probably the sweet spot for 99% of you guys out there. And again, as a higher dosaging. So somewhere in the middle, would almost be perfect, I think. And again, you can adjust 50, 100 milligrams pretty much all the way through. Make something else, key point here, guys, and it's one of those mobster pieces of advice. Keep notes. And if everything else is under control, if, again, we will get into it, the diet is on point, the training's on point, you're giving yourself plenty of time. Try to note, whether it's on an online training log on one of our forums, or whether it's a personal notes that you keep for yourself, how you feel that you're responding. Because when we're giving you advice, we are not you. You're the person that's looking in the mirror. You're the person that's looking to get into shape. So I want you for yourself. But if you want to put it on the forums, it will help benefit other members. That's great. You will see changes. You'll say, I feel, we had a guy this morning on one of his training logs. I feel amazing today. The last couple of workouts have been absolutely fucking brilliant. I mean, it was literally how he was responding. And so you go, whatever the fuck he's doing right now is working amazing. Same thing for you guys. Can you see more of your abs? Are veins popping? Do your delts start to look gnarly? Have you got that kind of granity thing that we refer to earlier starting to come through? Make a note of it, because whatever you're doing right now, whatever doses you're doing right now, if you tweak the numbers that we've given you, that's what's working, and that's what you need to stick to. I think there's also another thing, especially when it comes to the summer cut, Steve, and especially if you're running this while you're doing your holidays, while you're out there looking good, while you're out there walking around in the pair of shorts with your top off and showing everybody the work that you put in, keeping this look. Now, I will say, a la competition diets and competing bodybuilders, which we're not really talking about, the look that they're aiming for can sometimes be no more than 3 to 4 days. Guys, you're looking for a look that's hopefully going to last more than that. Not just, you're not going to have an 8-pack all the way through the summertime. Things happen, stuff gets in the way. You could go out crazy on the drink one night and whatever else, down on the beach, having a party, whatever, and then you need to put in some work for another couple of days to bring that look back. So again, it's one of the for me, it's a thing that Steve said already, that key word is flexibility. I need to put some more cardio in for a couple of days to get the abs to pop out and pop. I need to cut down on the beer for a couple of days to get the abs to pop out again. It's that kind of stuff. So the ability to up 50 milligrams or 100 milligrams and dropping back. And again, this is for you guys that are looking for this kind of summer cut. The flexibility there for me is perfect. You're keeping these same 3 drugs, and you've got to find a sweet spot for you, where it comes, when you start to get the look, when things start to happen, and then tweaking it a little bit here and there, back and forth. Even if you spent the whole summer, which is incredibly unlikely, without having 1 beer on the beach or 1 beer in the bar at the hotel or whatever places you're going to and trying to look good at, and a nightclub and whatever else. Even if you did that whole time, there would still be responses with food. There would still be other things going on. And that's when you can adjust these things up and down again. Now, of course, most guys, when we go away on holiday, looking good for the girls, there will be a beer in there. There will be a shot of something. You will stay up late a couple of times if you're on holiday. That's the nature of these particular things. So the ability to adjust on the fly, knowing how you respond, referring to the notes that I've already suggested, is how I think this is going to work, Steve.
So let's get into that a little bit. This is hardcore, but here's the thing. When you're running a steroid cycle, what you do on that cycle obviously is important in terms of your training, in terms of your diet. So we really need to get into that.
1000%.
So let's start on workouts. I'm going to give you some workout tips when it comes to your training, and then Mobster is going to give his. And I definitely want to hear what Mobster has to say, because Mobster works out with a lot of, ripped guys, in his gym over the years. And the thing with these steroids, you got to remember what anabolic steroids do. So quality anabolic steroids, using a brand like Euro Pharmacies, you're getting top of the line steroids. All right. So we want to take advantage of them. So how do we do that? Obviously, you've got to break the muscle down. You got to train that muscle. You got to make it where those steroids are increasing protein synthesis in your body. They're going to make it easy for you to build muscle tissue. So we want to definitely wear that muscle down and take advantage of the situation. So one of the best ways when you're cutting down is using a lot of drop sets. And that's something that I love. I love drop sets. I love the burn. You're going to feel a hell of a burn on this stack. The pumps are going to be incredible. Your muscles are going to be hard. You're going to walk out of the gym feeling like $1 million. You're going to barely, on arm day, you're barely going to be able to drive home after this workout. On leg day, you're barely going to be able to walk out of the gym because of the crazy pumps, and you're going to have the veins popping out and everything. So it's amazing. So I love drop sets. And what drop sets are, for those of you who may not be familiar with drop sets, I'll give you an example of what a drop set would be. Let's say, you're doing your workout and you're on, you're doing some bicep work. Okay. So instead of doing, you're curling like say 50 pounds, and you're doing about, I'd say maybe 8 reps. Okay. 8 good reps at 50 pounds. Right. So what you would do is you drop the weight down to 30 pounds, and then you would just fucking pump the muscle to death. Do 20 reps. So that would be an example of a drop set. And the objective here isn't to be, egotistical, isn't going to be showing off. It's not going to be trying to, do a lot of weight, but the objective is just to burn the crap out of that muscle and wear it down to hell. And then these steroids come in, and these steroids help kind of use that workout to your advantage. So doing more high rep, low weights is going to be an option for cutting down as well, and really getting that heart rate pumping and getting that calorie burn during your workout. So instead of going in there and doing two reps every 5 minutes, like maybe a power lifter might do, in this case, you're going in there and you're doing lots and lots of reps, and you're only taking 30, 45 seconds in between sets. Hell, your muscles don't even have enough time to recover between sets properly. Yeah. You don't care. You're just trying to get in there and do that hardcore workout and burn all those calories in a short amount of time, get that heart rate up. And that's going to help with your fat burn, and that's going to help really wear down your muscles and get that pump going to be able to take advantage. So that's just a little tip for you to try drop setting. Maybe those of you listening have never tried drop setting before, but I personally, I've always loved drop setting since I stopped lifting heavy. So Mobster, why don't you get into a little bit of training, and then we'll get into the diet on this cycle.
I'll give it to you guys. Start to think like a competing bodybuilder. And I've been around competing bodybuilders right up to and including IFBB pros. I've also been around guys that have competed in the world's strongest men. Number one is you've got to put the fucking work in. This is called a hardcore podcast because that's it. We're not going to pussyfoot around. You can't take these drugs and get in shape. You've got to take these drugs and diet and train and get in shape. That's how shit works. There's no sort of magic bean, special shoes, lycra fucking fitting shirt, blah, 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 blah. That's going to suddenly magically make these muscles appear on you. You got to go out and do the grind. I'll give you an example, Steve, outside of the gym. I'm referring again just to the local AFBB pro doing his daily walk like I do. I do my daily steps every single day. He's at a fast pace, faster than mine, because he's looking to be slightly out of breath the whole time. And he's doing this 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, like the beginning of his working day. He's a professional bodybuilder. So when he was a professional competing bodybuilder, he's out there. And I know the particular route that he was taking. And I believe he's doing a couple of circuits. He was doing a minimum 2 miles at a pace where he's ever so slightly breathless. Now, guys, I don't want to hear no bullshit excuses about, oh, I haven't got the time. If you've got a dog, walk it faster. If you've got kids, go down to the park with them and walk around the park with them and put stuff out. Do it in the evening. Key things, stuff like this. For example, you're tired from the day at work. Do it then. Don't wait till you get home, because trust me, you won't want to go out. If you've got one of those exercise bikes, jump on it while you're watching the TV, while you're reading the newspapers. Get that stuff in. And it has to be, especially for a summer cut, you're not looking to get into shape to run a marathon near. So you don't need to be going 100 miles an hour. But what you do need to be doing is sufficient level of cardiovascular work, bike, treadmill, on walking, very low speed running, any of these things that you do, rowing, a level where you are getting into that fat metabolism. You're going above and beyond what's not in the diet anymore and getting the body to use up your sources. You can't, for example, well, you could, but you'd have to up the work to a ridiculous level. You could stay on the same damn diet, but you'd have to be doing so much cardio to compensate, it'd be ridiculous. So that's one. And like I said, thinking like a competing bodybuilder, how do competing bodybuilders get into shape? When we get into the diet, you could look at like meal prep and having small meals. But the only reason you're doing that is so that you don't feel hungry, you don't feel starved. Steve could get you in, for example, into the fasting side of things. And again, let's go back to the gym again. I've been around, I'll give you a situation here, Steve, as an example, right? Now, we know that I'm a weightlifter, strength athlete, but there were two competing bodybuilders. One was a fitness figure girl or woman, and one was the IFBB pro. And all three of us were, I think we was all around 8 weeks out from a competition. And for whatever reason, and there might be an argument for alpha male, this bullshit or whatever else, but then if you're a competing athlete, you're going to have some sort of that kind of attitude going on. The three of us smashing the fuck out of shit changed the vibe in the gym. And to the point where we actually commented something to each other on that particular day that I'm thinking of, where she was doing her stuff, he was doing his thing, I was doing my thing, all at the same time. And here's the thing, Steve, and it's kind of, you need, again, this competing bodybuilder mentality, because it will help you get into shape. We weren't talking. We were just getting our shit done. It was ugly. It was horrible. It wasn't nice to look at. The drop sets that Steve described, they're not nice. I've done them. I've done drop set leg workout back in the day, Steve, that had me sore inside of 4 hours. I had to go home and lay down on the sofa, and I slept for 2 hours after the gym. And when I woke up, my legs were sore. That's how fucked up that shit can be. But guys, again, that thinking bodybuilder, that thinking getting into shape mentality, don't just go, oh, I'll get into shape and then kind of be half-assed. Go full bore on this stuff. Think like a competing bodybuilder. Every single day that you've got between now and the time you hit the beach, between now and you hitting the lakes, is important. And it's literally every single time you miss a session is a missed opportunity. And that would be my attitude. If I suddenly decided, Steve, one day to come on a forums and say, Mobster's going to get in shape, I'm going to go from 318 pounds as I am today to 208, you're going to see some veins. Trust me, I better back up my bullshit. And if that's the kind of motivation you guys need, this is it. Again, this is a difference between out of season, wearing a hoodie, covered up, and on the beach in a pair of skimpy shorts, skimpy swimming trunks, whatever, and you're showing every single aspect of your physique to people. So for me, if that was the situation, I would be 100 miles an hour, 101%, with Euro Pharmacies backing me up, doing my stuff, head down, like I'm going to a comp bodybuilder, like I'm trying to be Mr. Olympia or Mr. Universe. That would be my attitude. And that would reflect in my cardio work, getting up, no excuses, get up today, motherfucker, get your fucking ass out the door, get on those steps, chat to people, but on the trot. Really, sorry guys, I've got to get a move on. I'm doing a cardio cut. I'm getting ready for the summertime. If they want to talk to me, they've got to keep up with me. Otherwise, we're not stopping and we're not having any kind of casual chats. We're doing this maybe first thing in the morning, Steve, like 5 or 6 o'clock, so that I can avoid people, just so I can go out there with my hood up and get my work done. And that's the attitude you need to have. Seriously. And again, it comes down to, if you're 20%, like Steve says, then it's even more important. If you're 12%, not so much, because you've done most of the work already. My in the gym attitude would be the same. And you're not going to suddenly add pounds of muscle. That's really what, for me, the off season is all about. You will add some muscle. And that's where the anabolic properties of these drugs is going to work. But as much as that, you're looking to polish. I think the phrase that's been used in bodybuilding magazines before, Steve, and back in the day, and even on videos now, it's that kind of rough diamond to a cut diamond. The diamond is the thing. It's that hardest stone. You want to be that diamond, but you're bringing out the cuts. You're bringing out the detail. So for me in the gym, it might be looking for small show muscles, bringing my pecs up a tiny bit, bringing my shoulders up a tiny bit, getting my waist down, obviously lowering my body fat, learning how to flex at the end of a workout. There's another one, guys. Why do you think bodybuilders do it? And they're not just practicing for the actual point of exhibiting their stuff on stage, vis-a-vis, I forgot what the actual posing, I don't remember what the word was. They're not just posing because that's what they need to do on stage for the judges to be judged. One of the things that posing, literally flexing your biceps, flexing your chest after a chest workout, and so on and so forth, does is it has the added thing of separating bringing out those lines between the muscle, the pec delt tie-in, the bicep tricep tie-in. Those things start to separate. You start to see those details, but it also, vis-a-vis using Euro Pharmacies Masteron, will harden your muscles. It will give them that look. Is that not the case, Steve?
So you bring up something about posing to stomach vacuuming. I recommend every morning stomach vacuuming, because that's really going to help with your posture, so that when you're walking down the beach, your gut isn't sticking out, but instead people can see your abs, and you can basically, learn to suck in, do some stomach vacuuming. If you don't know what that is, look it up online, and that will really help, so your gut isn't sticking out. So one more note on that, Mobster. We gotta talk diet, and we're gonna kind of also get back into the steroid talk more toward the end as well, because there's some stuff we need to go over.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of on the stomach vacuuming thing that Steve mentioned. The late Rich Piana did actually a very good thing in terms of one of his tips. I think he did a series of tip videos, and one of his better tip videos was to do with the vacuum. And he had himself literally before bed. It was, I think, a video that seems to stick in my mind. He was upstairs outside his bedroom in the hallway, and he was doing like 15 minutes of vacuums, or 15 minutes of just really like dumbbell tricep work or something like that. And the idea for him was, especially with the vacuums, it was bringing that stomach under control, because again, it was all about 280, 290 pounds or whatever the hell Rich Piana weighed back in the day. But having your stomach stick out makes you look out of shape. You could be ripped on everything else, and you've got that weird looking stomach. So he said quite properly, I've got an exhibition, 5% nutrition going to be at this place. We're going to be doing this, that, and the other. He wants to have that stomach under control. He wants to look freaky. You guys, again, I would be so disappointed if I was ripped to the bone, if I'd done all the hard work and cardio, etc., in the gym, and then I was walking around with my stomach hanging out. So it's just one of those things, guys. If you can get that stomach under control, and you can practice the vacuums, and you can do what Rich used to do, then your physique's going to have that look. You're just going to look like a guy who's ready for the beach. That's what this is about. Right, Steve, so touch on the stuff you want to touch on now.
Yeah, so diet, very, very important. When it comes to using trenbolone is a very potent nutrition partitioner. So what you put in your body is going to get sucked into the muscle like crazy. So really, time-restricted feeding, fasting may not be your best option while you're on trenbolone. But what is a good option on trenbolone is good carbs, and spreading your carbs. So what I like to do in this situation when I'm on tren is sweet potatoes and brown rice. Those are your bread and butter. Keep those good carbs in your system, because when you work out, your body is going to be very depleted. That tren is going to do a lot of nutrition partitioning. So learn the difference between bad carbs and good carbs. Okay. Fruit is also a good carb. Go crazy on the fruit. Fruit is wonderful with tren, because fruit is a lot of water, a lot of fiber. It's going to help your digestion. It's going to help your hydration. I'm a big advocate for fruit. So learn the difference between a cake for your carbs or fruit for your carbs. Learn the difference between ice cream for your carbs or brown rice for your carbs. There is a difference between good carbs and bad carbs. So when you're on the tren, like I said at the beginning of the show, I've seen people even who have no clue how to diet take tren and have tremendous results. But really, if you have your diet on point, your results are going to be doubly tremendous. So if you can get away with eating bad on tren, eating good on tren, you're going to feel so much better, and you're going to look so much better. So your diet needs to be on point. I would still try to do some type of time restricted feeding, maybe a 16-8 schedule where you're feeding an 8-hour window and you're fasting in a 16-hour window. Try that. See if you can get away with it on tren. You may on some days need to switch it to more of a 12-12 schedule. But if you can stick to more time restricted eating, where you're eating a 6 to 8 hour window, that would definitely help your fat burning process. And remember, calories in, calories out is a true thing, guys. It is a true thing. But remember, when you reduce your calories, you also reduce the amount of calories that are coming out. So you'll kind of be chasing your tail if you just follow, a cookie cutter, calorie in, calorie out diet of eating in a 200 calorie deficit every day, yada, yada, yada. Focus on the foods you're eating is my point. Focus on the good quality foods you're eating. Feed those muscles, because when you're on trend, you're going to be able to feed those muscles tremendously well. So, all right, Mobster, yeah, touch on that a little bit.
I'm thinking of a couple of things here, Steve. Real simple stuff, and we've actually addressed this before, again on the forums. And it's that kind of bodybuilder mentality stuff. When I mean competing bodybuilder mentality rather than just bodybuilders per se, right? So simple stuff like, let's go back to some of the foods that Steve's mentioned. Take the dressing out, seriously. So instead of adding dressings to your fruits and your vegetables, to your potatoes and to your starches, reduce the dressings to a minimum or remove them completely. So, for example, Steve, I tea yesterday, one of the things I had was some freshly grown potatoes, which is a great carbohydrate starchy source, but I actually added some mustard and some mayo. Now I can do that because I'm not on a summer cut, guys. You would have it the other way around. You'd prepare your potatoes exactly the same as I did, but you would either go a low-fat mayo or reduce or completely remove that. So you're taking out the sauces. Your pasta, for example, and again, it would completely depend on the pasta and how it's made. No pasta sauces, especially none of the creamy pasta sauces. And this is dead simple stuff. I mean, another way which we've talked about when it comes to diet again, and especially if you're competing bodybuilder, but in here doing a summer cut, you're talking about spicing up foods. So those foods which are plain, you can spice. That's not a problem. You can add peppers, you can add seasonings, but you're not adding sauces. You're not adding anything kind of fattening. If you fry anything, it's air fried. It's not deep fried. It's not shallow fried. It's air fried. It's minimal stuff. So these are real simple things. I mean, there's absolutely no excuse not to have your food tasty at the same time. And again, with the meal prep thing that I mentioned already, that's the meal prep is kind of one of those do I or don't I. Guys, and I actually made the show notes on this before, you've got actually no excuse for not knowing how to cook, not in this day and age, not with videos and podcasts like this that you can refer to. However, if you're crazy busy, times are really a big issue, whatever else, you can either meal prep at the weekends like we've discussed on the forums before, or you can use a meal prep company. And they will do cut-in meal preps as well as bulking meal preps. I mean, bulking meal preps for me would just be 2 meals instead of 1. But a cut-in meal prep, and it will be things like broccoli, have some chicken breast in there with no skin on, a little tiny bit of seasoning. It's guys, I don't want you moaning and groaning about, you're hungry all the time, or you can only eat certain foods if they're kind of sugared to within an inch of their life, seasoned and oiled and God knows what else. Because again, it's one of those things, no bullshit, hardcore. Why do we say that? Because we're saying you've got to put the work in. You've got to put the work in when there's a knife and a fork and a spoon in your hand, the same as when you're down the gym. There's no point going out and spending hundreds of dollars on a cycle and then eating like a pig and expecting magic to happen. It doesn't work like that. So it's 1,001% that you have to do all these things all at the same time. Personally, if Steve or I were coaching you, again, we would have you thinking about stuff like this in the winter while you're bulking, while you're adding the pounds of muscle, while you're getting stronger. And at the end of that, we would start to think about cutting down. I'd probably do a 3-stage, Steve. I'd probably have you like on a massive bulk, power lift, strongman type training program in the depths of winter. When you're wrapped up, getting your squat and your bench and your deadlift and your big lifts up. And then as the summer starts to come, we get into the spring, starting to reduce your diet, starting to change your diet, starting to increase your cardio, starting to look at the exercises in your training workouts to reflect the fact that you're looking to put some caps on your delts, make your triceps pop and so on and so forth. And then when the summer comes with this cycle from Euro Pharmacies, then we would be going, right now is the time to polish and shine and really cut into that diamond, get all the facets of your physique on display. So literally, we're talking about, let's say that summer is 8 weeks, Steve. That's another 46 weeks of work. So I said 44 weeks of work. So all those weeks of work, we want this stuff to look good. I want to be ripped. I want my veins popping. If I'm a vascular guy, I want my abs on display. I want that tiny waist. So we do that. I mean, keyword, I literally wrote down and underlined it down on two phrases here. One was literally hard work, underlined, and the other one is a sense of need. For me, I would treat this like a competition cycle. I would literally say, right, I'm going to be in shape for the beach. I'm going to be in shape for the legs. I'm going to be in shape for the summertime. And it'd be like a mantra for me, Steve. I'd have it pinned up on the wall like it's a competition thing. I want to win the Mr. Olympia. No, I want to be in shape for the summer. It would be a mantra, almost kind of obsessive for me to do these particular things. Because guys, once you're there, once you've made it, once you've hit it, get those pictures up, take some photographs, be proud of what you've done, and have everything, all that work on display. Can you imagine? Steve, it's going to be like a fairy godmother, except you did the work. It's going to be she'll wave a magic wand and suddenly you're in shape. No, I did that damn work and now I'm in shape. Proud of what I've done, in shape, looking good, tanned. Work on your skins, guys. Work on a pre-tan before you hit the beach. Look at other stuff that you can do. Get your hair cut. All those things, again, like a competition, because now you're going to be the guy arriving at the beach with a six-pack, with your hair all nice and tidy, with a pre-beached tan on the go. You look like you were born there. You're going to look like a surfer. You're going to look like it's a deal. And trust me, if it's a competition in life, not on stage, you're already going to be looking like a winner. You're going to be hitting that beach with the right clothes on, thinking, God damn, I'm glad I did this, because look how I look. Look how those girls are checking me out. Come on, Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm really excited, man, about this cycle. I want to hit it too. I want to hit it hard. So definitely, we have to also discuss some of the side effects. We discussed it earlier in this podcast. The pumps, the pumps can get pretty brutal on this stack. So taurine is a really good option for you. Another thing that can get really tough is their cholesterol levels. Your blood pressure can skyrocket. So one of the best things you can do for that is make sure you're taking your support supplements. And also before you start this cycle, always make sure that your numbers are where they should be. In other words, don't hop on this cycle when your cholesterol levels are already bad. Don't hop on this cycle if your blood pressure is already bad. You want to make sure you normalize everything first and then do it. One of the tricks that I like to do ahead of a trend cycle like this, okay, especially a cycle like this where you're really going to hit it hard, is I like to trim down as much as I can before I start it. So I'll do a lot of long distance cardio. It's called LSD, long, slow distance. I'll get my headphones on, I'll get some running shoes on, or I'll just go barefoot around like a soccer field and just run for 45 minutes, or I'll run through a bike trail or something like that where it's fun. There's a lot of elevation, there's woods. It's not boring. And what that does is it boosts your cardio ahead of this, because when you're on this, the trend is absolutely going to murder your cardio. So that's a trick that I like to do. So before you start this, ahead of it, like a month ahead of it, you want to up your cardio and really get into the best shape of your life. And then this way you start things. Another side effect, Mobster, before I bring you back, insomnia. And that's a big complaint on Trenbolone. And it's a big complaint during the summer. I mean, look, what's happening with climate change. It's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. Every year, the summers get hotter and hotter. Our air conditions break. We're sweating already during the summer like crazy. When you go on trend is going to make you sweat more. So you run the risk of trendsomnia, as they call it. So what I said earlier, spreading out your carbs is going to help. Taking some carbs before bed is going to help. And also another trick, I think, too, is getting a good dual current DC fan and pointing it at you, not at your face while you sleep, because you don't want to dry out your sinuses, but make sure it's pointed at your body. And that's going to help keep you cool at night. That's going to help. That's going to help with your insomnia at night. And make sure, your bedding is always clean. Make sure, sleep naked. I mean, on trend. I mean, I hate to say it. It's maybe not the most clean thing to do, but you might want to sleep naked on trend and get a light sheet as your blanket, just to keep yourself a little cool on these hot summer nights that we experience these days. And, at the end of the day, those are the side effects. Did I miss any side effects, Mobster? What are your thoughts on this?
No, I'm just going to say it's basically about managing the side effect, guys. We have occasionally, and it's kind of crazy that we still get this. We occasionally have someone said, "Oh, I've just started taking X," and X will be typically trend, and I'm having lots of issues with it. And you go, right, motherfuckers. Again, this is a hardcore podcast. We don't fuck around. why have you used a drug that you know or should have known comes with side effects? If you didn't, then you didn't do your research. Guys, research isn't 5 minutes on Google. Research is reading, listening to these podcasts. It's reading our articles. It's knowing that there are side effects. So again, even without this cycle, if you did a summer cut with just training and just diet and cardio, your metabolism will speed up. It speeds up in the summertime anyway. And what that means is that there will be a small but slight and noticeable increase in your body will be burning food more. It will be metabolizing more, which will make you warmer. And that's why we all struggle in the summertime, especially if we're out of shape, but even when we're in shape in the summertime, trying to get to sleep at the night time and so on. And again, things like, Steve, watching your stims late in the day, when you're dosing the drugs, when you train. I prefer to train in the morning. Guys, if you train at night time, again, there's a significant up to 4-hour window post-training with a small but slight increase in your metabolism. It'd be that much harder to go to bed. On the other hand, if you smashed it in the gym, you should be tired because of the stuff. Steve said, for example, I mean, I might have a glass of cold water, iced water even better, by the side of my bed and that cooling fan, a single sheet covering my body. Things like this. It's just knowing that the side effects are going to occur and mitigating them. The stuff that Steve mentioned earlier on with the cholesterol, that's going to be managed by a good diet. So have your diet on point. And again, that's going to come down, if just stuff with the cholesterol again. If you are, as Steve says, you do that run up 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, a preparatory cardio, and then keeps the cardio going while it's difficult. And again, specifically on the trend, you're going to manage it as best you possibly can. Your ancillaries are going to report. You can get some ancillaries, performance enhancing drugs, etc., specifically from Euro Pharmacies, and then stuff like N2 Guard, etc., elsewhere. These are the things that you're going to want to help you with those kind of things. If any other issues with side effects above and beyond what you'd expect, you come on the forum, check us out, and we'll try to give you the answers. You've got people that respond to you quite well, repping already for Euro Pharmacies that will give you advice on these things for that particular reason. And making sure, as we said already, if it's from a trusted source like Euro Pharmacies, you know what you're going to get, you know what to expect. If it's not a trusted source and you don't know what you're taking, then you might get side effects that aren't mentioned and aren't anticipated, and for that particular reason. So yeah, I mean, Steve, as Steve says, especially when it comes to training and the way that it hits your cardio, it's going to be one of those things. I want to be kind of ready in advance. So that is definitely useful advice there, Steve. What else before we finish off?
So this stack, look, at the end of the day, tremendous stack, Euro Pharmacies, trenbolone acetate, Masteron propionate, and testosterone propionate, maybe the best cycle you'll ever run, especially for recomping, especially for cutting. So make sure you're able to take advantage of it. Don't let outside distractions get to you. Focus 100% of it, and make sure you're using Euro Pharmacies. Don't waste your time with an inferior brand, and then you're going to come crying 5 weeks into it when your results just aren't there. So this was episode Evolutionary Hardcore Podcast 2.0, episode 1. Thanks for listening. We will talk to you guys on the next episode, so keep an eye on it. Take care. And Mobster, take us in a disclaimer.
Please note, we are not doctors, and the opinions on these shows are ours and ours alone. It is our view and based on our experience and views on the topic. Our podcasts are for informational purposes and entertainment only. The freedom of speech and the First Amendment applies.